I have a mentor. 5 years ago, 6 years, 5 years ago when I started this, there was a festival, and we scrambled. We tried to make ourselves official as possible to be a part of this festival. And then right across from us was a restaurant that also scrambled, right? They were in the beginning stages of like making it happen, but they were probably like already a year in, but it was the first festival they had ever done. And they had a really cool name. And I had a cool name, right? They're called Taco Madre, and we're called Big Mich. So we were busy as hell. They were busy as hell, and I'm looking at them from across like the parking lot, and I'm like, damn, they're busy. I want to go check them out. So I couldn't check them out until like we were sold out. Thankfully, we sold out and went over there, and I'm like, hey man, I really like your name. And he laughed, and he's like, I like your name too, bro. He's like, you want some tacos? I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll trade you for some miches, you know? I literally had nothing to my name. I was across the street. I had no sign. But he shared whatever knowledge he had. He shared whatever opportunities he had. He opened up this whole world that I wanted to be a part of, right, to me. And just by showing me, like, hey, look, this is what I can do. Is there anything that you can do to maybe match this world? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. These are my ideas and whatnot. But the ability to allow me to have those ideas and to like present them in a space that he had created is huge. You never know when that person can do that same thing for someone else, or if someone else is listening and they say, I'm in the same position as this person, maybe I could help someone out. But yeah, man, shout out Javier Garcia, Aydre Marquez. They maybe don't know that they have done a lot, but you know, they definitely done a lot.
It seems right now some of the biggest things in this world are Latino. So I said out loud to Carlos, our editor, I said, we're in the midst of a Latino renaissance. It's this opportunity, this time and space that we probably will not see or have access to again in many generations. But right now the spotlight's on us. And I think it's a great opportunity and a great sense of responsibility for us building at this moment in time to be able to not only build it for ourselves, but open up the doors for as many people as we can.
I definitely agree. I think that there's definite this awareness and this real life culture of this Latino renaissance, as you say. We experience it every day. We're talking to these accounts, and we're seeing our product thrive 5-6 years in. Big Mich was built on perseverance. You know, we struggled quite a bit, and we still struggle sometimes. You know, and that's something that we as how we grew up with, that culture of, you know, get up at 3 a.m. and get to work. It's that same mindset that our generation's kind of like absorbed. So we're waking up early, we're hustling, we're trying to get it done just because that's how we grew up. We saw our parents waking up early as hell, you know, trying to make it happen, and we kind of have to abide by that culture. So I think because that work ethic is there, that's why we're thriving at a much greater pace than before. We're now second and third generation Latinos that have absorbed the culture of American society, and we're using those resources. We're becoming more knowledgeable about how the in and outs of how everything works, the segments, and people like you, people like us are kind of taking over all of these segments of business, of tech, of food and beverage, and I think once we start to vocalize the ability that we have and how much we've grown, that gives us true power.
There's always this transitional step when it comes to launching a business. Not everybody might see right away or may not believe in fully, but you kind of do, right? Like there has to be some sort of level of conviction. At what point do you decide to leave everything behind and really go full forward on this dream?
For me, it was I was at a 10-year tech company that had just started off, I was kind of dead inside. There was the mundane. There was no critical thinking necessary. You didn't really have to do any brain cell work to kind of do what you were doing. And I kind of wanted to do something more. So I took a dive with Javi again, being very passionate, talking about the business. And after being there for 10 years, I was like, damn, like let's see what's up. Let's see what we can do together. And luckily, I felt that need every day of calling into work and just being like, damn, like this is not what I want to do, man. This is just not where I want to be. I know I could do more. I know that there's more to what I can contribute to a company or to myself, even mentally, like for my own mental health. So So it was quite a risk to take, quite an even bigger pay cut, but it was worth it, man. It was, but it was worth it because it's paying off, man. I'm getting so much more. I'm gaining so much more knowledge, and I'm grateful for it every day. The challenges, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's good to see the work and the passion and something you're contributing to every day instead of working for this huge conglomerate where you're not even seeing like the work right away.
I'm going to touch back on the previous question, right, about the Latino Renaissance, and having Latinos at the forefront, you know, and more specifically for me in my world, right, like where I'm from, it's like a bunch of Mexicans, right, and we've always been there. We've been in the kitchens, we've been grinding, we've been doing the electrical work, we've been doing the plumbing work, we've been making sure the facades that you're building are beautiful, making sure that all the painting is amazing. And I hate to burst your bubble if you're in Chicago, but all your Italian food is made by people that look like me, bro. They're Mexicans, bro. I've been in the kitchen industry since I was 16. It's what I've been wanting to do since I was 16 is learn the ins and outs of the restaurant, learn the ins and outs of the hospitality industry, and see what I could do with it. You know, I dove into the workforce, and I went in there with purpose. Every manager I ever had, I let them know my plan is to learn your job and to leave. Or my plan is to get to as high as I could, and then I'm going to leave. I had this idea. I'm like, hey, I make really good drinks. I think I'm going to start off with micheladas because there was a whole, for my wedding, I made a bunch of micheladas, and people loved it, and I had a bunch of people keep asking me for them. So in my mind, I'm like, easy hanging fruit, right? Low hanging fruit. I'm going to push these and make some money and see how it goes. I told my wife, and she's like, yeah, quit. Go ahead. You know, no static, no like, hey, what are you going to do about the bills? What are you going to do? She's like, go ahead. You're unhappy. Quit. So I quit. I went to Menards. I had $600 from my last paycheck. Originally, I bought 3 boxes, right? And I'm like, man, if I'm going to make it, even if I sell out all these 3 boxes, I'm still not going to have enough money, right? I'm like, you're either going to believe in yourself or not. The first step is spend all that money that you have right now on these bottles and see if it works. If it doesn't work, you're stuck with bottles. But if it doesn't work, at least you know. And I did it. And that first weekend, we sold $1,000. And then the next weekend, you know, we kept flipping it and flipping it and flipping it. But it was literally like that detachment of like, I can't do this anymore. And if I'm going to do it, I need to believe in myself.
People love you guys. And it shows. I think it shows in the personality of the team, the way you show up with the fucking drinks ready to go. Like, that makes a big difference. Because ultimately what you do is not about products. It's about people. It's about feelings. It's about relationships with others, right? Like, that's what's so powerful about what you guys do. And I think it translates very well in the way people perceive you and in the way that people advocate for your brand. What has been that impact to be able to have that social safety net from your own community? What would you say the impact in your business has been to be so supported by your community?
I would say it's probably a constant reminder for us to keep going, man. There's a lot of times where it becomes difficult, but for us, I think knowing the fact that we carved out an entire market for micheladas in Chicago back in 2017, 2018 when it didn't exist, it kind of just it motivates us, man. I think that's probably the biggest indicator or the biggest feeling we get from it is that we get motivated by the fact that this community is really shown out. They continue to go to these stores and make them top sellers, and it's something we're grateful for.
For us, it's been really important to root our business in the community, whether it's from where we buy, from where we hire, to where we push, to where we have these festivals, to the types of products that we create and how we market them, but also the price that we market them at. I try to be as fair as possible. We try to always put freshness first, the best quality first. It's really important for us. So if you're going to spend your money on my product, that product is going to be the best that it can be. And I'm not going to rip you off, right? Because I know it's hard for you to make that money. But at the same time, we have to have a business model that's profitable. So when we make any kind of decision, whether it's introducing a new product or whether it's introducing a different flavor or a new packaging or where we're going to decide to buy something, we have all that in mind. because ultimately we know the community made us, and I'm not going to turn around and put out like, you know, a $25 michelada jar because I know that there's a market for it, or because I know that, you know, some people are going to buy it, when in reality it's the community that, you know, started with us. But also like the integrity of the product. There's been many a times where I could do like a pasteurized lime juice, or do like a cheaper product, right? A different type of chile, or a different type of this, or a different type of that. And it would all cut into the integrity of what actually we're trying to do. But what we're trying to do is really put the best product out there for you and for your family. And that's been the mission.
Talking to that younger version of yourself where you felt like you couldn't. I think we all had that point in our lives. If you had the ability to really share and provide some advice now at the level that you're at, what's the advice you give somebody who wants to start something, who feels that they were meant for bigger things than they currently are, but they're battling the sense of identity, they're battling the sense of self-worth, outdated gender norms, and familial expectations? What do you tell that person?
Something I would tell my younger self probably would be something along the lines of that, is that fear is such a debilitating thing that it's just gonna completely fuck you up. No matter how hard you try to convince yourself or talk yourself out of it, you're gonna talk right yourself back into why you shouldn't do it, and why you should just stay at your 9 to 5 and keep making a constant, consistent paycheck. But I think that the most important thing to say is just, you gotta let go, man. You gotta fail. You got to fail at least once or twice, or fuck it, quit that job, and at least you knew that you tried to do something different, at least in the direction you were going in, and at least you said you tried and you failed. So I think that's probably the biggest piece of advice I would give myself back then, is say you're good enough, man. And if you're not, you're going to be good enough. So, and it's not going to be where you're at. If you're constantly doing the same thing over and over, it's the definition of insanity if you're expecting something different, you know? So that's genuinely how I feel that stops most people from succeeding is fear.
And I have a tattoo on my left arm that says Provejito in Altum. It's a dive into the unknown. And really, like, the last probably like 10, 12 years, I've thought about that. Like, I think about it like, yo, what do you know? You don't know shit. You know, métete. You know, no vas a aprender until you know. You're not going to know until you know. Bro, I'm in rooms with billionaires, and they're interested in me. I'm in there talking to them one-on-one. You know, I'll smoke a bowl right before. I'll smoke a bowl right after. I am me, right? And I think that's it. Just be yourself. The circumstances that you can't control, you'll never be able to control. But what you can control is yourself and the rooms that you're in and the processes that you're going through, right? If you put yourself in a room where you're uncomfortable, eventually you'll become comfortable. You put yourself in something that you have absolutely no idea how to get out of, but your existence requires you to get out of it, you're going to get out of it. It's human nature, right? We're going to swim or we're going to sink. So métete en lo que no sabes. Eventually you'll figure it out. If you don't figure it out, you'll be a better person regardless.
In that whole Latino Renaissance fashion, I think it's never been easier to start a business. You know, you have things like free social media. You know, you can go like 0 to viral on TikTok and Instagram for free. You know, you have tools like Cash App that makes it really easy for you to start selling shit, you know, for free. It almost seems like there's little to no excuses now to really at least find out if you have, you know, what it takes to really launch a business. How has been that experience that you guys have had with something like Cash App for running and scaling your business?
I have a grocery store, and one of the things that we created inside the grocery store is called El Puesto, where we gave other businesses the opportunity to come up and like try to use our space as their space. And a lot of them were intimidated, right? Like they come, they see a POS system, they come and they see like whatever taxes and whatnot. What you did for them was like, no, look, upload your menu. They're gonna pay. This is where this goes, this where this goes, and here's where your money is. Having that turned into like a 5-minute conversation with people, as opposed to a week, 2 weeks of, hey, let's line this up, let's get this going, we'll talk to our IT, we'll create this, we'll do this is that. You simplified it, you streamlined it. It's one less excuse, right? It's like, no, but no, I don't got a POS system, bro. How am I going to charge? I don't have people. I don't know how to write. How am I going to get this to the back, you know? So what you created is you took like the printer out of the equation. You took the ordering person out of the equation. You took a person having to learn the menu out of the equation. And just in that, you saved 3 people, right? So one person, as opposed to a team of 4, can now take your order, and one person in the back can create it. So you simplified it. It makes things easier, and it's just having the ability to share that with someone. It's like, hey man, don't worry about that. It's one less thing, a lot of times people have great ideas. A lot of times people have the know-how, they have the staff, they have the product is amazing, but they just don't have the finishing touches, right? They just don't have that little tweak which going to get it to the masses. And that's just kind of like, one less thing and one more tool for them to get where they need to go.
When we're setting up for the festivals, I'm like, if you don't have cash drop, you're making a big mistake, So we're also very excited to see how much it's evolved, man. Like, it's ever since we first started using it, to the features and the feedback that I see you working too hard late and implementing the code to try to make that stuff, more streamlined for us is awesome. And I know it's just going to keep evolving, and I know it's going to keep growing. So we bet on cash drop 100%. Yeah. And we won't stop using it. We will continue to use it. Yeah.
One last question, fun one, and I'm going to make it even more fun. The question I always like to ask my guests at the end is, what's your favorite quote and why? But in the ethos of the Latino Renaissance, the question is, what is your favorite dicho and why?
I don't know, man. I've been listening to a lot of corridos recently.
Me too. Me too.
I've been listening to like a lot of like, like nomás hay una vida. So there was a song came out like 3-4 years ago. I don't even know the name of the song, but like La vida es prestada, a que festejarla. Man, and it's like, it's true, man. This life is borrowed, right? Like, I don't know what's gonna happen today. I don't know what's gonna happen in a week. I don't know what's gonna happen in a month. But like, why not celebrate right now?
I don't even know if I remember like dichos, and mine would just probably be something my dad always said. Like, no llores, cabrón. Ponte a trabajar.
Hey, man, that's okay. I love
that's
one.
how I'll leave it. Yeah, no llores, cabrón. Ponte a trabajar.